Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is Moment of Presence on Wednesday, 12:30. Thanks for being here. I'm so glad that you guys are joining us again today. It is myself and Krista once again, and we are going to have an interesting conversation today about letting go, and not the letting go like Elsa, right? Just let it go. More about things that we have in our life that are no longer serving us. So we're going to hang out, let a few people join in, let us know that you're here, where you're from. Make sure that if you do make a comment or you ask a question, that you add your name to it so that way we can see who you are, because it doesn't always show us who is with us. So make sure that you're engaged in the conversation. So yeah, we want you to comment. And if you know anybody, if you know somebody that every time you guys like go out in a group and the person's talking about the same thing over and over and over again, they need to let that go. If they are wanting the same thing, but they're never getting it, and they seem to always be chasing it, and they're not making moves in the right direction, you need to send this to them, share it, get them on, and let them listen in with us. Because we're gonna dive in a bit deep into this conversation, and there's a lot of different perspectives that we can go with this conversation too, which is really cool. So I see that we have a few people joining us. Remember, just let us know who you are in the comments, where you're from, and definitely engage with us, because we love that. We love to make this more of an interactive conversation. So, Krista, how are you this week?
I am fantastic, except for this Florida heat. I don't know what temperature it is where everyone else is, but our feel like is well over 100.
You know, Krista,
Just the tank top today, the lovely sleeveless.
Just let it go.
You know what? I wish I was in Frozen right now, but I will try to channel the snowflakes and the thank God for our AC.
How many times does somebody say let it go, and we're like, it gets annoying, right? Like it can just literally annoy you. What do you mean just let it go? How am I supposed to let that go?
Mm-hmm. Right? And it's always, you're always told that, right, in like the heat of the moment where you don't want to hear it the most, but you know it, and we always know it's true.
Right.
We always know it's there, and then someone has to tell us, and I know, but what does that mean?
Well, and it can mean so many different things, right? So is it letting go of a belief? Is it letting go of a relationship that's not working? Is it letting go of an argument that keeps coming up with the same person or different people over and over again? Is it a career, a job, a position? Is it
a situation that you want, or something that you want?
Right? A goal that maybe has outlived its necessity in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It just really depends, and we can kind of go over some of what that looks like, and definitely those who watching, add into the comments something that you've been told that you need to let go of, and you're like, what does that mean? And even if it's just a topic, and we'll kind of give you some ideas of how to do that, because that's really the goal, is to make sure that you have some kind of a technique that you can apply for yourself by the end of our show today. So why don't we do our moment of presence and bring ourselves into the moment? So we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to hold it for a count of 5, and then we're just going to exhale and just let it go. So bring it in, count of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let it go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's do that again. Breathe in, and then hold it. Big exhale, letting it go again, and breathing it in again, Hold it. And then exhale. So do me a favor before we're done, remind me to talk about the technique about letting go and a rock. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's a really good one, and that's a really good one for a lot of people to use, and we'll end with that today. So, let it go. I won't sing.
Please don't.
So there can be beliefs that we hold on to that no longer serve us, and we need to let those beliefs go because beliefs don't have to live for a lifetime with us. We don't, just because we had a belief when we were a kid, or we had a belief growing up that we were going to do a certain thing by a certain age. We don't have to beat ourselves up if we're not making that goal. We just make a new goal, but that means we have to let go of the other goal. So what does that look like?
I feel like that's even like I'll call it easy example, so it's perfect to start with.
Right. It doesn't mean that we beat ourselves up. It doesn't mean that we say we're a failure because we didn't make it. What if our situation changed? What if our aspirations, our dreams, what if we found something that was more interesting, right? And we just decided to go down that path. Possible?
Very.
What's something that you've had to let go of?
I have to let go of something every single day of my life. Large, small, everything in between. I have what's referred to as a type A personality, which means letting go is something I'm very familiar with, but it doesn't mean that I'm great at it. But I'm very familiar with it. And there are some things that I'm very familiar with the process, and then maybe you'll teach me something on this episode.
So let's pick a topic. Let's
go with the hardest one.
Okay. What's the hardest?
I personally, I would think that the hardest situation is when there's something that you want that you currently don't have, that you want really, 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 really bad.
Okay. So I'm going to go into a little bit of the universal law of attraction, right? If you're consistently thinking, overthinking, and hyperfixating on whatever that goal is or whatever that thing is that you want, what is the message you are putting out to the universe?
Well, let's think about it. What do people when they want something? Let's say I want a new job.
Right.
What am I thinking? I need to find a new job. I need to be sending my resume out. Why is no one calling me back? How do I get people to call me back? How do I get interviews? Why did that interview not go well? While we're here, let's look at a different option. Maybe it's a relationship with your children. I want to spend more time with my daughter. I want to have a better relationship with my son. Why don't my kids talk to me as much as I want them to? Why do they never want to be part of family time?
What does all of that have in common as far as what the universe is then hearing?
Post in the comments.
Hint, hint. It's a message that you don't have it. So, yes, you don't have it. How do you still make it a goal, or how is it that you still focus on what it is that you want, but do it in a way that is actually going to bring it closer to you? And what does that look like as far as law of attraction? So law of attraction would be getting curious. And I love that. Let's get curious.
Like your tagline now.
I swear. We need to think about that. What is said thing going to do for you? What is it going to do for you? What is it going to provide? How are you going to feel when you have it? And these are questions that you can literally ask yourself. And I suggest strongly, hint, hint, writing them down.
Yes.
Because you're not going to remember. And this is a process, right? So what is it that said thing? So whatever it is out there that you really, really want, you're hyper fixating and hyper.
Write that at the top of your page.
Right. Write it at the top of your page, whether it's a better relationship with your husband, son, daughter, whoever, or relationship in general. What if it's a new job? If it's I want a better boss, if it's I want a house, I want a better place to live. Whatever it is, right?
Better health. That's a hard one too.
Health. That's a good one. Write that one at the top of your page. Now, what will having that do for you? What will it provide for you? So
let's give some examples. Let's pick one. Which one do you want to go with?
Relationship?
Sure.
Okay. What will the relationship provide for you?
We could say companionship. We could say
love.
Attention, love.
Security.
Fulfillment.
Fun.
To spend your time. Fun. Happiness. Joy. A roommate. The list goes on, and it's personal to everybody.
So list underneath what you wrote at the top of your page, list all of the things that is going to provide for you and how it will make you feel. How will it change your life, right? Then we want to look at that list. Don't look at the top, what you wrote down. Look at your list and look at where else in my life can I feel this way?
Right.
Or can I find this? Mm-hmm. So if it's security, where else in your life do you feel secure or can you feel secure?
And it's about, the whole point of it is stimulating that feeling, not just thinking, oh, well, I could also feel secure here. It's actually eliciting those feelings.
Exactly. Lack. Yes. Lack. Hello. So putting lack at the top, what are you lacking? Mm-hmm. And then whatever you're lacking, what will that provide for you? And then where else in your life can you fill that, right? You're filling that void and you're giving yourself something to be thankful for. So let's say that it's the relationship. Okay. You want a relationship. Where else in your life do you have relationships that bring you joy, security, love, companionship? And then dive into that and be thankful for that, whether you're being grateful, whether you're journaling, whether you're talking to your flavor of the divine, whatever it is, that's what you're going to hyper focus on, not so that you over stress that relationship, because you don't want to do that, but you're going to concentrate on that and put your best efforts into that situation, because now you're going to feel the feelings. Now it feels joyful. It feels love. I'm full of security and safety. It may not be exactly what you want, but the universe doesn't know the difference.
Right.
And so when you're feeling it, what does the universe do? It gives you
more.
Yes, exactly. So that is really the secret of all of this. So it's not that we're completely letting go. We're just
refocusing,
recalibrating, and doing it in a different way.
Right.
There are things, though, about letting go that are attached to control and expectations. Mm-hmm. And those can be the even more challenging things to let go, because it's how you function. If I function and I think that I can control everyone around me, and yes, that was a thing back in the day. I like to control. I like to know where my kids are. I wasn't quite the helicopter mom. I wasn't a helicopter, not quite the helicopter mom, but I did know where my kids were. I just also gave them enough room where they could go out on their own and do things, and I just kind of kept watch for safety reasons. So it's all about, can you loosen the grip and realize you don't have control of everything, but what do you have control over? What is the only thing we really have control over?
Ourselves.
and our emotions, how we show up. That's it. That's it. And our emotions are then attached to our health. They're attached to how we show up, how we're perceived. Not that it matters how other people perceive us. And that's something else that we need to let go of. We can't control how people see us. We can't control how people take us. That is not our issue to deal with, our battle. That is theirs. We are who we are. As long as we're being true to ourselves and we're being, living in integrity and living from a place of love. Letting go of fear. How the heck do you let go of fear or anxiety? Right? Because that's a one.
Well, anxiety, I think, is a slippery slope that we maybe shouldn't dive into today because that's a whole conversation of its own. But I do just want to shout out a very funny comment. Raymond said, she still has Life 360 on your phone, doesn't she, Krista? LOL. I actually track her more than she tracks me. I don't know that she ever tracked me where I do it more.
Yeah.
I just like having, whereabouts of the people that I love. That's that type A control personality. But I think there's another element to this too, because it's not just everything that we've talked about so far, but for someone who is used to having more of what's called a monkey mind, where there's always some, thoughts going on, and it can be, well, what do you mean focus on the thing that maybe it's even I am embracing all the relationships that I have. I am feeling useful, maybe that's the thing if you're looking for a job. So there's the whole other side of it where it's also getting in control of your mind. Because if you're spending time thinking about those beautiful things during the day, that's great. Your half the battle is done. But if all the rest of the time you're obsessing about not having that thing, you're basically just keeping yourself in neutral. Right. You're not really moving anywhere.
Right. You're going backwards. It's like 2 steps ahead and 5 steps backwards. And so it's about being the no thingness, the being in the moment and not thinking ahead or thinking behind, right? So if you're constantly thinking about, well, I used to, well, before
or I don't have this. What is wrong with me? Why can't I get this thing that I want? What am I not doing?
Right. Or you're thinking about the future. If I don't do this, then what's going to happen?
Right.
Well, now again, you're not being in the moment. And what are you missing out on when you're not in the moment?
Right.
Life.
As someone who's been through this exercise many, many times, I can tell you that when you're not focused on keeping maintenance on all of this, it is very easy to miss out on opportunities. It's very easy to reject things that do come in that don't fit the exact version of what you wanted, but it fits everything else. Right. And so that's where maintenance is absolutely crucial. This isn't something you do once and call it a day. This isn't you want a new job, so you spend one day meditating for 18 hours that day, and then the rest of the days you're back to your normal self.
Right.
This does require a constant upkeep.
Right. You still have to go through the motions of applying for jobs or getting a new resume or whatever that is. But here's the key. You have to get yourself in a better energy before you sit down at the desk to do it. If you're waking up in the morning and from sun up till sundown, you're looking for a new job, or you're looking for the next best thing, or you're looking, on one of those relationship finder apps or whatever, you're still putting out there to the universe that you don't have what you don't have. But if you go and do something that's going to make you happy, if you go and do something where you're just sitting in your being, or you're allowing a new opportunity to show up, then when you sit down, you're going to be in a better energetic frequency to attract what it is that you're looking for. But if you're not, guess what? The universe is sending it this way, but you're down here and it's never going to meet. So you got to bring yourself up and you've got to meet whatever it is that you want. And that's just, I mean, that's law. That's law. It's the universal law. There's no way around it. And
this is so funny because letting go, at least every time I've ever been told letting go, I always instantly think of it and visualize it as like I literally have to like stop. And the thing that I want, I'm supposed to just like forget about it and just not act on it and not do anything, which on some level we could say, yes, okay, that is how it is. But letting go is really not letting go. It really is letting go, maybe should be recoined as refocus, redirect your efforts,
yes,
change your mind.
If it's not working this way, let's find a way that will work. And what is it that I can be doing better? Not doing wrong, because it's not about shame and blame and judgment. And remember, expectations. If you're expecting somebody to do something and they're not doing it and you're angry with them over and over and over again, excuse my language, but let that shit go. Because you're not going to change the other person. So what has to happen? You have to let go of your expectation. Now, can you then still have the relationship with the person if you let go of the expectation and accept them for who they are? Or do you need to, break it off? What can you handle? What are you willing to tolerate? What can you live with and what can you not live with? And so that's really the question. But you can't go into a situation and go, I'm going to take this job, but that boss, I know they're horrible, but I'm going to change them. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah. Another great example of this is, let's say someone who goes on a new diet and it works really well for them. So now I want to try to, let's say I'm a wife in the situation and I just started a new diet and it's working so good and I feel great. I have all this energy. It's doing so much for me. I'm going to get my husband to do this with me. And I nag him and I push him, but then I find out he's stopping off at restaurants in the middle of the day to get lunch with his buddies. Or he stops at the store and picks up a bunch of junk food that he knows is against our diet, and it's so frustrating, and I've had it, and I'm spending all this time making this delicious food, and he's not eating it because blah blah blah. The minute that you decide, you know what, maybe you've been worried about his health this whole time too, let's throw that into as an extra level.
Of course.
You stop and you go, you know what, I can't control what he's gonna do. I can't control what he's gonna put in his mouth while he's not home. I can't cook for him. And even then, he could say, no, I don't want that. That's a totally autonomous human being here. I can't control what they're going to do.
No.
So I need to make the choice for myself. And instead of being frustrated, I'm just going to keep making the food for me. Right. And you know what's going to happen when you do that? Oh, that looks good. What is that? Well, can you make enough for me? Because that smells really good.
Or
what do you mean I can't have those leftovers?
Right.
What did you say?
Or I can't keep up with you because you have so much energy. What's up with you? How is it that you can do this or do that? And it's like, well, I've been eating better, so I'm going. And if you can't keep up, you can't keep up.
Right.
I want to go to a comment that I saw that Raymond made. And it goes back to that lovely old proverb quote, if you love something, set it free. And if it comes back, it's yours. Well, first of all, nothing is actually yours. You do not possess anything. And so when you let go of that, everything else opens up. But I mean, you can't control other people. You can't control different situations. And sometimes you do have to just let it go. And if the relationship sustains, then great. And if it doesn't, then it wasn't meant to be. Or everyone takes a break from each other, and then, oh my goodness, you meet up again somewhere, and now you both are at a different level, energy level, frequency, whatever, vibration, whatever you want to call it, and now it works. It works. I have people in my life that have dropped off because I've gone in a different energetic direction, and there wasn't patience there. And I'm not going to deal with the high maintenance. I'm going to be me. I'm going to do me. And if that's good, then great. And if it's not, that's okay too, because I want them to do what's right for them, but I have to do what's right for me.
Right.
Because that's the only way I can be true to myself. So yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways that we can take this, and we can only change things for ourselves. Absolutely. Exactly. We can only change things for ourselves. We cannot change ourselves for someone else. We have to do it for the right reasons. And we
Right.
do it because we want something better, not because we want someone to accept us. We want, and it goes back to what Raymond and I are in a class together. It's not accommodating, right? It's compromising. I will give a little if you give a little. But if someone's not willing to do that, are you still going to hang on? And I think we both know that the answer is going to be no, because there's no accommodations. I'm not going to give up for someone else that's not willing to give up something as
Right.
well, and meet in the middle. And I think that's the biggest thing.
And there's a part of this that I really want to make sure that we talk about, because it's getting started, and how to even get in a place where you can let go, because 10, 15 years ago, neither one of us would be talking about this. We were so stuck in our own places, maybe more than that for you, but but
Absolutely.
it's not necessarily something that's easy nor easy to maintain, and there's a lot of stuff that's been ingrained in us over the years that can make this particularly difficult to continue doing, because the thing about the human mind is it's really sneaky, and your mind knows you so well, and it knows, well, I'm just going to drop this little thought right here, and then in about 45 minutes I'm going to drop this other thought, and then in 2 minutes from now I'm going to drop, and now you're on a full complete mental spiral, all completely back to your old ways. So there is something to say too about needing a coach, a mentor, whoever,
Right.
that's going to help keep you in the right mindset.
To keep reminding you what your goal is, and what the ultimate goal is. And
Absolutely.
and these are the ways to find it, and then little milestones that you make along the way, how to remind yourself of those milestones in those moments when you're not on with the coach.
Absolutely.
I love coaching, and I had a client yesterday call me and told me how they worked out a situation based on the techniques that were taught in our sessions, and how something was worked through, and she realized that she was holding herself back from something she really wanted because she was afraid she'd never accomplish it. Well, you're not going to accomplish it if you hold yourself back. So what the heck?
Right.
And the techniques that she used got her over that hump, and now she's back on the path that she actually wanted to be on.
Right.
And so she recalibrated herself and brought herself back up to that timeline. That's the stuff when it's just, oh my gosh, it fuels you, and it makes you so excited, because it's like, yeah, if you just keep going, oh, I'm going to sing Dory, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And again, not hyper focusing on a goal that you really want, but what is the ultimate goal of living? Experiencing, being happy, being not happy. That's all a part of life. If we're here to live, then we need to allow ourselves to live and experience all the different emotions, and not judge ourselves for them, but not get stuck in them. And that's a coming up conversation that I cannot wait to have. That one I think is in a couple weeks, so we're really looking forward to that. So real quick, one of the techniques, I said I was going to end with this. So the rock technique, it was taught to me by a coach. I've used it a couple times with my clients. If anyone watches The Big Bang Theory, it's not holding a pen, I promise, because he does a whole thing where you hold a pen and then you let it go. But it is similar. So here's the thing. You sit and you're thinking about what you're carrying. What is the heaviest on your shoulders? The monkey on your back. What is that? And this helps with codependency. What is it that you're carrying that is not yours to carry? That is, you don't have control over it, but you're carrying the load. And you sit and you bring it in your mind and you think about it and you allow yourself to feel the heaviness. And then and do it outside, start outside. And then look around you and find the heaviest rock. And if you have to pick up a bunch of rocks and put them in a pail, but you're going to pick up a rock. I picked up a pretty big rock when I did this. And make it so that you can barely pick it up, right? But you still can. And you pick it up and you're going to hold it. And you're going to sit there and you're going to think about that monkey on your back. You're going to think about what you're carrying. And you're going to think, and your arms are going to start shaking. And you're going to hold it longer. And your arms are really going to start quivering. Maybe your body's going to start quivering. Maybe you even start sweating. But you're determined to hold on to it. And I want you to be determined because you've been carrying it for years. So hold on to it. Put all of that energy of whatever that is in that rock. And then be careful of your feet. But then I want you to let it go and literally feel the release of your muscles and of your body as you drop the rock. Don't drop it on your toes, on your feet, please. But let it go. And that, when you feel that feeling, now you can go back to that. And when you're holding on to something and you're gripping onto something so tight, you're going to be reminded of when you held that rock and how heavy that rock was and how hard it was for your body to continue to hold it. And then you're going to think to yourself, do I really want to carry this? Do I really want to put myself through this? And then put it down. Put it down. You don't have to drop it. Put it down. Especially if it's somebody else's to carry. If it's their situation, they have to carry it. You can't carry it for them because they will learn nothing if you carry it for them. You can help them and cheer them on, but you cannot carry it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, make sure your toes are out of the way. Absolutely. Or you're wearing steel-toed boots. I mean, that
don't think from what I've heard that actually could be worse.
Very true. So that was a huge technique for me because you can physically feel your body wanting to let it go, but you're emotionally going, but it's my family or it's my job. Or how many people have stayed in a job way too long? You've been miserable. Every day you come home, you're crabby, you're unhappy, you're nasty to the people that you really love. And let's be honest, if you died tomorrow, they'd refill the position. If you're sitting there in that job, ask yourself why. Why are you holding on to that? Because you think there's nothing else out there? There's other jobs out there. Be smart. Start looking. Pace yourself. Get things, all your ducks in a row. And then go. Because here's the thing, and I learned this the hard way. You can either go on your own, making your plans and getting your ducks in a row, or the universe, because you're praying for things to get better, the universe is going to answer that wish, that prayer for you, and it's going to push you as hard as it can out of said situation and then bolt the door so you can never go back. So if you want to make it easier, it's always easier to make the choices yourself on how you want to move forward.
Yeah.
Because the universe will help you move forward, but you may not like how it happens.
Yeah.
So
I want to get back and circle back because it sounded like you said that you learned that from a coach. So as a coach, you still have a coach?
Why, yes, because all good coaches have coaches. Because, one, this is a journey. You're never done. You're never done. The deeper you go, the deeper you go. And so you're constantly going to have, so many people are like, oh, but I already dealt with this. I already let that go. But did you let it go at the next level? Because there's always a deeper level. And we're always going to work to get to the deeper level because that's what true freedom is. And so, yes, I still have a coach. And I do that because one, I want to learn new things. I'm still expanding. I'm learning so much more about myself, and new things are coming up, new gifts, new challenges, new things to look at. Things are being revealed. Oh my goodness, I didn't know I had to work on that. So yes, good coaches have good coaches because we have to stay ahead of the game so that way we can be the trailblazer. So we can know how to guide you. Because if I'm not doing the work, how am I going to expect you to do the work? So yeah, coaches, every coach should have a coach. And if they don't, then there's something wrong there because nobody is done. Nobody is done unless you're source or you think you're the universe. You're never done. It just isn't. That's not going to happen. So
Speaking of which,
yes,
if you want to book a
book your
discovery
call.
call with Michelle, this is the
Book
link
your
to
call.
do so, mokshagrace.com/coaching. It'll be a quick
Absolutely.
30, 45 minute, maybe an hour.
30, 35. I'm not going to lie. There can be a little bit of coaching on the call because of things that may come up. But then we're going to figure out what is the next step for you. Is it the group program and working with a group of clients that I work with, and we work in a group situation, or is it more one-on-one? And we'll take a look at that and see which one is the best for you. Is it something that's shorter? That's happening in your life right now? Is it something that needs a big deep dive? And so all of that can be discussed on the call, and that's what I love because I get to decide with you intuitively and as we talk what is going to be the best path for you and customize it for you, for your situation. I'm not going to force you to do something that is outside of what you really need. So we're going to talk about that, but I have to understand what's going on first, who you are, different things about your life, and then we can make a plan. And so that's why we have the calls. So book your call. Let's talk. Even if it's something that you might want to do in a month, but not right this minute, or have a plan. Let's make a plan, but you don't know until you know. So book your call. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for those of you that were engaging. Raymond, have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm sure we'll be talking in a bit. And everyone else that was here, thank you so much. And Krista, as always, thank you for
My
keeping
pleasure.
that point. And we'll see you guys next week. Remember, every day can be the best day. You get to decide, so choose wisely.